All right, hey everybody, welcome to my YouTube channel. Today is Monday, February 2nd, 2026. It's Luther Wilson III, real estate extraordinaire here in the Kansas City market, representing for Upside Property Services and the affiliate companies. And for those who may not know, we invest in real estate and our primary focus is on serving real estate investors in one way or another. Okay, so if you are interested in working with investors, or if you yourself are currently investing or looking to do so at some point in the future, then you may want to consider subscribing to the channel. Click the like button if you like the message. Most everything that I talk about has to deal with capital, strategy, and operations, all kind of centered around real estate investing here in the Kansas City market, primarily residential single-family home investments that are bought and held for the long run. Okay, so that's kind of in a nutshell what we do in our specialty here. And today it's episode number 85. I'm going to continue what I talked about last week. And if you haven't seen that video, you might want to check it out as well. I got into some common misconceptions, or rather assumptions or expectations that we or you or me and investors tend to have as we are going through the process, looking for opportunities, working through, as I said before, the operations, the capital and the strategy for real estate investing. Okay, so I'm going to get into 3 more common expectations or assumptions that may be considered false for most of what is real out there for real estate investing. So let's jump right in. The first one is, just to kind of recap for those that don't know, my background is in real estate, of course. I grew up in a real estate family. Both my parents are still active to this day in one capacity or another. And we've, done a number of different things in the space. And so over the last few years, especially as I've, attempted to grow my portfolio and serve more investors, I've had to, pull back for various reasons. Changes in the industry, the market, real estate evolving. Some businesses don't work out, some partnerships and clients don't work out. So throughout these last few years, it's given me an opportunity to reflect on what's happened and how we might be able to improve on things. And it's allowed me to kind of pour into this YouTube channel that y'all are watching or listening to right now. And I say all that because throughout the years, we've worked with tons of buyers, lots of sellers, a slew of investors, and I have seen a number of patterns, and I've seen some consistency as far as some of the stories that we hear and some of the experiences that we as investors have had. And my goal is to, of course, continue doing deals, continue to grow my portfolio, but I want to educate, inspire, collaborate with some of y'all out there. And for some of y'all who, are working through different things, you may be able to get through the process more efficiently. Okay, so that's my goal, that's my hope. All right, so with that being said, let's get into 3 more common misconceptions, expectations, assumptions that we make, or assume as we are going through the real estate investing process. And definitely, again, check out that last video because some of these things will tie in together. All right, so got my notes here. The first one for today: all the money that you've invested will be returned back to you in a timely manner. This is a big one. I just kind of take it for granted. I mean, I don't really work with very many wholesalers unless they're bringing opportunities and we're ready to buy. But fix and flippers, I talk to them, I kind of see what they're up to, but I don't really work with those who want to be in and out or doing short-term transactions for various reasons, one of which it's risky. As I mentioned before, the market's different, the real estate industry has evolved and changed, and we have to be mindful about how we are, taking on these opportunities. And unfortunately, I've seen it time and time again, as I've grown my portfolio and as I've worked with different investors here in the market, lots of out-of-state investors working, buying product here in the Kansas City market. And the common thing that I've seen is, okay, you want to put up capital, right? The idea is to either get, residual monthly, quarterly revenue or cash flow from that investment, or you're going to put that money to work and you're going to attempt to, do a value add, renovate the property, resell it, and then get all of that initial investment capital that you put up or that you borrowed or that your partner or someone else put up. Okay, the idea on the short-term basis is to put that money up and then to get it all back with profits within, 3 months, 6 months, for some it's 12 to 24 months before you see all of that initial investment capital back out. And unfortunately, there in a lot of cases are no profits. It's just the reality of it. It's what we've seen time and time and time again. And even if you are doing primarily buy and hold, okay, which is our preference and which we believe is, safer, secure, more profitable over the long run, the challenge is you just have to wait for it. So even if you're doing buy and hold, I can't tell you how many investors I've talked to, they have a certain amount of money that they can leverage and they want to put it up, but they want to get it back within a relatively short amount of time. And then along with that, again, if you're going to do short-term transactions, you get that money back plus profits, or if you're doing buy and hold, whatever strategy you're implementing, the idea is to get all of the initial investment capital back plus monthly, quarterly revenue or cash flow, depending on how the thing performs. But more often than not, okay, money gets put up, and again, not all of it comes back. So that's another reason why we push for long term, because at least if you put up some money, right? And let's say, like the example I have used over the last couple years is $60,000, because I think that's a reasonable amount. You can get away with less, absolutely. It may be challenging. You're gonna have to be patient, find the right opportunity, right? But today I could pretty much help anybody with $60,000 liquid, right? And that'll get you into one opportunity, right? No questions about it. We could definitely do that. But you're gonna have to leverage that capital, that $60,000 with some other type of funding, right? Check out the previous videos. I talk about the capital, the funding, and the financing and different ways that you can make that happen. But the final point here on this first one is, if we put up $60,000 and we do buy and hold, and okay, there's a chance that we may get 30 to 50,000 of that initial $60,000 back, then we can get cash flow each month for the next 5 to 10 years, perhaps longer, which to me is one of the biggest things that I push for my investments, my clients as well. Okay, so point number one, we assume or we expect that we're going to get all of that initial investment capital back out. And unfortunately, more often than not, it's a mistake. Okay, point number two, right? A common misconception, false expectation or assumption that we make as real estate pros. Okay, I'm guilty of all of these. Okay, just FYI. What's working well now, okay, or what worked well for the last few years or in the past will continue to work going forward for however long, right? This is a big one, right? Because as I mentioned before, we can go down the list over the last 5 to 6 years with COVID, with lockdowns, with low inventory, with since then higher interest rates, okay, more competition for real estate investing for a while there got real sexy. And then you can add in there the political or geopolitical factors, and then you can even add to the financial system being reset in a weird kind of way, perhaps. So all these different factors, I say all that because we have to be able to shift and evolve and adapt to what's happening real time, so that if we do have clients or partners and we want to serve them, we can legitimately and honestly tell them like, hey, based on what we've seen, you have a certain amount of capital that you want to deploy. Okay, sure, yeah, you saw my posts on Facebook from 3 years ago or 6 months ago or whatever. It's not working the same way, okay? Certain aspects of your investment strategy or investment model may remain the same, okay? Example, we do seller financing. Seller financing is still working very well today and has for the last 50 plus years. What's different is, okay, one thing, how much capital we're gonna need to bring to the table to get into one opportunity or a package deal or to grow a portfolio. Interest rates are different, okay? So, and then acquisitions is a little bit different, okay? Are you gonna use, the BRRRR strategy, okay? Are you gonna continue to use short-term debt, hard money loans, or are you gonna go turnkey, or are you solely gonna use seller financing or existing financing types of transactions? That's where things can change and evolve, and we have to be on point and on the ball with what's happening real time, because this too shall pass. That's the quote that I kept thinking of over and over again, and it's something that I challenged myself with. And good times are bad, right? When things are flowing and you're doing deals and things are clicking, we need to remind ourselves this too shall pass. When things aren't going so well, and you haven't done a transaction in a month or two, and your clients aren't buying, and you just exited 2, 3, 4 businesses over the course of however many months or whatever's going on in your life, this too shall pass. Okay, so that's part number 2. Number 3, the third common false expectation, assumption, or misconception that we have had, of what I've seen for real estate investors, okay, is thinking that we can achieve wealth, financial freedom, or lasting success by ourselves or without partnerships, okay? So there's a quote out there that came to mind when I was thinking about this one here, okay? If you want, it goes something along these lines. If you want to go fast, go by yourself, okay? If you want to go far, go together. I'm gonna have to look that up. If somebody sees this or hears this and they know who the originator of that quote is, then let me know. Put it in the comments if you want. But yeah, that's something that I think about, right? And something else that I think about when it comes to working with others, partnerships, collaborations, however you put it together. That is a big challenge, not just for me, but for a lot of investors, a lot of entrepreneurs, a lot of people that want to grow, is we have a hard time dealing with human beings, okay? But if we want to grow, right, we could see some success by doing our own thing, by saving money, by maybe closing more deals or growing another business or however that looks, but that's truly gonna be limited. A big thing that I have explored and have tried to express on this YouTube channel and on social media, and maybe it's so I can get it through my thick skull as well, is that I'm going to need, you're going to need, we're going to need assistance. We're probably going to need outside capital. It could look like a partnership, okay? It could look like you hiring or outsourcing certain aspects of the business, or it could be all of the above, as it was or is in my case. the outside capital, hiring GCs, hiring attorneys, hiring tax people and financial people and, you know, property, the list goes on. You get the idea. And for me, as challenging as they have been for me, partnerships has been the GOAT. It's been the greatest way for us to truly grow. And to me, it always made sense to me. And I clearly think a little bit different, but it just surprises me that a lot of people are willing to get into intimate relationships, and we want significant others or spouses or whatever to help live a certain type of way, but we shy away from partnering or collaborating with someone who could help us essentially grow in generational wealth. Okay, again, like I understand that entrepreneurship, real estate investing, operating real estate investments, selling real estate is not for everybody, but my primary listeners are those who are either currently investing in real estate, they're aspiring to do so, right? They want to grow, or they are serving real estate investors somehow. And so to think that we can enjoy lasting success without partnerships or collaborations is a mistake. So that's point number 3. Okay, I appreciate you tuning in. I'll probably end up doing another video talking about how we can combat or how we can go in with certain, you know, expectations, guidelines, preparations, whatever we can do to make the investing process more effective, efficient, productive, and over the long run, more profitable and enjoyable, okay? So if that sounds cool to you, reach out directly to me if you'd like. Definitely check out some of the previous videos and stay tuned, all right? Kansas City, it's not going anywhere. You know, we get leads and different opportunities. There's, you know, lenders out here. There's wholesalers out here, you know, deal finders. I was on the, one more story, quick story before I go. I was on the phone with a buddy of mine yesterday talking about real estate, go figure. And we were talking about, he asked me about my next move, right? And I can't get into it too much here, but I said, look, bro, essentially, we don't need any more deal finders, okay? There's plenty of people who have built their entire businesses off of finding deals. From the agents to the wholesalers, there's investors who are constantly looking for opportunities or selling product. What we need is more operators and more capital to be able to put to work to then connect with those deal finders. So on that note, I'll leave it at that. Appreciate you tuning in. Have a blessed day, y'all. All right, peace.